Have you ever just like hit that point where you're just like, man, I gotta draw the line, I gotta change up the way I'm eating, I gotta exercise or whatever? Well, that, my friend, is exactly what we're gonna do. In the next couple of days here, I'm gonna be releasing some videos showing how I exactly am doing that. I had actually signed up for a weight loss challenge, and I'm gonna literally put it all on the line. I'm literally gonna take my clothes off and show you what I'm looking like under all this juju. Really just kind of like spur myself, right? At the same time, not only spur myself, I'm gonna go over like what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, for two reasons, right? Two reasons. So one, number one, I absolutely hope that it serves you well. So every single day I'm gonna be going over like what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and all this other stuff. So by the end of this 6-week thing, you know, if there's any like 1, 2, 3 techniques that you pull out of it that you make yours, high five, you won, right? At the same time, I'm doing this for a couple other reasons. Is like, one, I want to put out what I'm doing there, so if there's something that you see that I can improve on, please let me know, right? And then at the same time, I did a 30-day thing with my son, and to be totally honest, like the narrative sucked. It was totally boring. I noticed after releasing like a video or two that like it took me like a week and a half, and 2 weeks to get like 100 views, and then I literally switched my content style and then got like 200 views within a day, and I was like, okay, yeah, clearly my old videos suck. So I'm gonna use some of that stuff, but at the same time, yeah, let's get right into it. So here is basically what I weigh in at, and then here is my body fat percentage, and then we'll get into me like basically with my clothes off. All right, so let's do this. All right, awesome. So here are my results. I weighed in at 219.5 pounds. I've got about 50 pounds of fat on me. Good Lord, actually like closer to 51 pounds of fat on me. All right, and that's it. My dry lean mass is at 45.4 pounds. All right, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So here goes down the scale. And if you look at my body composition, I'm currently at 219 pounds. Skeletal muscle mass is at 96.3 pounds, and my body fat percentage is 23.2. So here is a front shot, a side shot, and then a back shot. All right, cool. So before we go any further, let me give you the secret sauce. Okay, so here are the 3 biggest takeaways that you can get out of this video right now. Number 1, start small, okay? Give yourself super easy and repeatable wins, okay? You don't have to go Rocky 4 whatsoever if you're actually looking to like change everything, okay? So perfect example, all right? So in my journey at type 2, my biggest change actually came from simply changing my breakfast. Okay, I changed my breakfast, I cleaned it up, went a little higher on the proteins, went a little bit cleaner, and the next thing you know, I lost a few pounds, and I was about 2 to 3 weeks into it, and I'm like, hey, look, like, let's go ahead and change my lunch. By the time I changed my lunch, bingo, right? Like, breakfast, lunch, dinner, I was like 70% of the way of changing my entire diet simply by starting by changing my lunch, okay? The second thing there is that what you want to do is make it as easy as possible, okay? And the reason why is because you want to build as much momentum as possible, right? It's kind of like the steamrolling effect, where basically, you know, you start slow, you start small, you start easy, and the next thing you know, because your bar, right? Like you keep raising the bar, by the time you look back, you're like, wow, like I've covered all this distance and I wasn't even trying all that hard. Okay, and then number 3, the biggest takeaway there is going to be 20 seconds of exercise 20 seconds of work, or 20 seconds of exercise and 10 seconds of rest. Okay, so for example, for me at the time, I was well over 300 pounds. In fact, I used to crash diet before every single one of my my quarterly appointments with my provider, because obviously they have you step on a scale, they check your blood sugar, all this other stuff, and so I would literally crash diet. I'd buy like these plastic suits and like run around with them and do whatever I could. I'd literally walk into those appointments completely dehydrated, stupid, right? Like genius, right? But at the same time, I was actually smoking a bunch of cigarettes, about half a pack to about a pack a day. Okay, so what you're about to see, this transformation that you're about to see, all started, okay, by doing 3 things. Okay, number 1, I made it really easy for myself. Okay, and I built a lot of momentum based off of that. Okay. Number two, I started small on changing my diet. I really just, like, again, I just started with breakfast. Okay. And that was it. Next thing you know, I built momentum off of that. And then number three was 20 seconds of exercise, 10 seconds of rest. At the time, well over 300 pounds. To be totally honest, I went years running from the scales, running from the camera, running from the doctors, because I did not want to see anything like that. As goofy as it sounds, it was much easier for me to look out than it was for me to ever look in the mirror, okay? And by simply walking 20 seconds, resting 10 seconds, walking 10 seconds, I built that up to what you are about to see. So let's get into it. So when it comes to eating, here are the two things that I'm using. I'm using intermittent fasting and keto. Okay, so when it comes to intermittent fasting, if you haven't already done your homework, there's a lot of different ways for you to, burn fat with intermittent fasting. Specifically, and more importantly for me, what I'm trying to use here is going to be the fat mobilization. Basically, that's just, without getting all into the nerd science, all we're really doing here is once we fast for an extended amount of time, what we're doing is we're expending, or we're burning out all the glycogen, okay, all the sugar in our blood cells, and the farther and the deeper that we go, it starts to burn up and starts to use our own and mobilize our fatty tissues, right? Our fatty acids, right? So it starts to break up and this fat starts to float around into the bloodstream, okay? And what I'm doing is I'm literally fasting for as long as I can, building that up as high as I can, and then just burning it. And I literally do this every day like clockwork. Now, everyone's fast is going to be a little bit different. For this thing in particular, what I'm doing is I'm literally going to go anywhere from 18 to 24 hours without eating. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle with keto. The reason why I'm cycling is for two specific hormones. Number one, for leptin. So as type 2 diabetics, one of the issues that we have here is leptin, and I'm going to be using the leptin hormone to my advantage. In fact, I'll be using it to increase my leptin sensitivity, and with ghrelin. Now, if you've never heard of this before, you do this by literally eating more. Okay, it sounds really counterintuitive. In fact, when I started doing all this stuff and I started to gain traction, I started playing with food more and more, and I actually stopped exercising whatsoever. And I went from about 300 pounds. In fact, here's some photos, right? So I went from 300 pounds. Here is a photo where I had, lost about 30 pounds. From there, I kept dropping until I lost about 70 to 75 pounds with food and zero exercise. The awesome part about that is that every Saturday, I literally ate more than everyone around me. Okay, and it's nothing new. You'll literally see this in like bodybuilding circles, and the cool thing is I wasn't even exercising. Okay, and so there's a certain way to do it for type 2 diabetics, which we'll definitely get into. But for now, let's move on to the next. Now, as far as exercise go, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing HIIT training, right? High intensity interval training. I'm going to be doing some weight training, walking, running, and of course, happy life, happy wife. I'm going to be doing some chores. Now, as far as exercise is concerned, here's my first day, right? So I ran just over 6 miles in under an hour, burned about 1,300 calories, and there's my times. On Friday, we did a like a family karate thing. My son got tagged in the eye by another kid. He's a really good sport, and coincidentally, speaking of the whole ghrelin thing, on that day we went to an all-you-can-eat buffet. Okay, and I'll definitely show you what my fat loss results are, and I'll even show you how I'm able to keep, normal blood levels throughout that time, or actually throughout that day. And even though I have the Dawn's effect, right? I'm still able to wake up with sub 100 counts after, eating a bunch of crazy food that day. So I'll definitely show you how to do that in another video. But here are basically my meals. All right, so here's what I ate there. On the 24th, that was Sunday. Then here's Monday, right? On that day, I went ahead and actually worked out twice. I did once in the morning and then again later in the afternoon. I walked. And then on Tuesday, I actually did some interval training. Okay, so here is a sample workout of mine. I basically do 5 rounds, 7 minutes each. 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. So basically in each minute, I get 2 rounds of exercise. So 1 round per exercise because I do 2 exercises, okay? So this one in particular, the first round was, ball slams, and then right after that, or medicine ball slams, right? And then right after that, I did some weighted crunches, okay? Like 52 and a half pounds for 20 reps. Then the second round, if you will, or the second round, if you will, second round of 7 minutes, I did, tire flips, and then I also did some, battle ropes. All right. And then the third round consisted of some deadlifts. This day I went super light because I'm going more for reps more than anything, keep my heart rate up. And then I also went for wall balls, right? Taking a 35-pound medicine ball and throwing it against the wall. And then after that, what I did is I started to do what I call like trampoline balls, where I'm literally throwing it as hard as I can. It bounces right back at me, and then I start squatting. Now that weight that I'm squatting there, that's only 40 pounds. All right, it's only 40 pounds. It's not even the weight of a regular bar. And then the cool thing here is, dude, huge. Shouts out to this guy. So here I am getting pretty depleted. I'm fasted. By this time, I've probably gone about 20, maybe 22 hours with no food. And I'm trying to burn myself, through this workout. Out of nowhere, one of the trainer comes in and just starts rooting me on. And so, dude, huge shout out to that guy. His name is Michael. I absolutely love you. He totally set me back on fire. And yeah, props to that guy. All right. And then after that, I closed with, jumping jacks and then more ball slams. That thing just kills you, I tell you. And so here are my foods for the following days. On the 26th, here is my circuit training. I only put down there, 750 calories. I ended up finding out that I burned closer to 900. So anyways, good old fashioned calorie deficit for that day. Here is the following day. And then here is on Wednesday. Okay, what sucks is on Wednesday at that gym, they were like, hey, dude, you can't record in here. Like, I'm like, oh, dude, really? Dang it. Well, anyways, here is that workout. And you'll see how, like, on the very last round, how it went all over the place. I probably would have burned closer to 1,000 calories, but my heart rate monitor flipped on me, which totally sucks. And so it kept flipping back and forth. So that's why it looks all crazy erratic. No, I did not have a heart attack. It just kind of came apart on me. All right. And then so on Thursday, I actually listened to a couple of different podcasts and study a couple of different folks. And one of my things on my bucket list is to run a marathon, right? And what I found for them, a secret hack that you can try is running barefoot, either on the grass or sand. All right. So this day on Thursday, just did some good old fashioned running barefoot, at a park. And then here I am. Here is my, I burned a little over 900 or right around 900 calories. And did so, with just enough time to get back to work. And then here obviously is my, are my macros or my meals, for that day. And then that basically was week 1. Awesome. So I hope that, serves you well. I hope more than anything it inspires you. In the next video, as promised, I'm going to show you how you can actually accelerate your fat burn by eating more, especially as a type 2 diabetic, as much as I love, or I would love to be able to say anything for type 1s, I can't, because I can't speak for you, because I myself am a type 2, but for type 2 diabetics, yes, in the next video, you will learn how to accelerate fat burn, how to control your blood sugar, and do so by eating more. All right, cheers.